And so, dear hearts, welcome into a new month, May, which takes us very close to summer really opening up and leaves spring finishing up its part in this great drama of the seasons with its beauty and its colors and its tones and its textures and its melodic sounds. So here we are on the 1st of May, and our topic for this month, what we're looking at this month, is Holy, Holy Uprising. When I first saw that, I thought, golly, holy, what? Holy, Holy Uprising. Now, holy is spelled with a W, and the next holy is spelled with an H. So whole, holiness, rising up in you and in me and in all life right now. And that's what we're focused on this month. And to begin with, we're asked to look at life as an adventure. And to ask ourselves, are we even aware that we're adventurers and we're on an adventure? To ask ourselves, do I truly want to be in this adventure and eagerly and keenly pursuing whatever the adventure has to offer me? Or am I totally unaware because I'm so busy and caught up in the busyness of the embodiment? Really and truly, don't talk to me about any of that. I just haven't got time to think, far less start this idea of adventuring. Oh yeah, I'd love to adventure, all right. I'd like to get a vacation and go away somewhere. That would be very nice. And we all know this. But yet, there's something in us that really is nudging at us to wake up in the adventure we are already in and be one with it, be part of it, go with the flow of it, and see where it's going to lead us. Well, where is it going to lead us? It's going to lead us right back to where we begin the adventure, to the essential essence of our being. It's going to peel away all the layers of human forgetfulness and reveal to us our true identity. Dr. Ernest Holmes, an incredible individual, founder of Science of Mind and Spirit, says that when we get to know God within us as God knows each one of us, our salvation will come to us. When we know ourselves as God knows us, salvation will come to us. I mean, how many times do you ever think about that? I could adventure into knowing myself as God knows me, and then, hallelujah, da-da-da-da-da-da-dum-bum. But we're so busy caught up with all our tasks and our to-do lists and all the rest of it that there doesn't seem to be much room in there to pause, take time out for spiritual food to feed us, you see. Because if you and I could consider this as a great just human experiment that we're on, we're spiritual beings having a human experience for 2 seconds, or less than that in eternity, really. And if we could make it the true adventure that it could be, it would be absolutely wondrous. Wondrous indeed. And you and I, no matter, like any adventure, when you're an explorer, when you're an investigator, when you're on an adventure, there are certain unknowables as you set out. You can prepare as well as you possibly can, but on the way, there will be on any adventure some detours, some false turns taken, and some rocks in the way, and bad weather, and God knows what not. But the adventure keeps going, moves through all of that, because why? Their eye is on the prize. Their eye is on the treasure that lies ready for them to discover. And so the endeavor is worth it, no matter what it is. And so when you meet people who adventure all their lives, there's no stopping them. Even when people say to me, "You're a bit old, bit old for that now, aren't you? Too long on the tooth for that now. It's about time you hung up your walking boots," and so on. But they don't see it that way. There's always more to an adventure, more to see and discover, and more to be filled up by, because time is so short and there is so much to explore, you see. Now, if you and I were spiritual explorers like that, my goodness me, our lives would be so very different, because we'd have that sense and sensibility. Oh, goody, goody, today is another day I get to adventure, discover something new, find some treasure, something that really, really bodes well with me. Today could be the day when I hit the jackpot. It could be today. Why not? So we have to have a spiritual, adventuresome sense and sensibility if you and I want to truly come back home to ourselves and realize our essential essence. There has to be some energy to it, and better still, a passion about it, that nothing can deter us, nothing can stop us, and nothing can block us from being on this path of adventure. That's what it takes. That's what we need to have. Now, this adventure is the adventure of ourselves finding our way back into the all that is, the great I am, the one and only power that's life and light and love, and all that is whole and complete, holy uprising, a whole and complete, sacred realization that causes what to rise? Our consciousness to rise. And not only our consciousness, because when your consciousness rises, you're going to raise all consciousness, because we're definitely interconnected with everything and everyone in all of life. So what's going on in you affects all of life, whether it's good, bad, or indifferent. So if we could rise up into that energy, into that splendor of knowing that we were put here to have a great adventure, and we were given all the tools and all the aids that are necessary to have a successful adventure. All of them were given to us. And we didn't have to go to a store to buy them either. We take along with us, the blanket of love and the pillow of wisdom, and you could make it up for yourself, all the other things that Spirit has laid bare before us to use on our journey. And what I'm talking about is discovering that field that Rumi talked about, but discovering it within ourselves. And Rumi says there is, beyond the ideas of wrong doing and right doing, there is a field. I'll meet you there. That field is the same field that the great Saint Teresa of Avila discovered in her experience of the 7 dimensions of her castle. You'd have to look all this up to see what all that means. It's actually Brother Lawrence's kitchen. In his kitchen, he discovered enlightenment was his already. It's St. Francis' connection with nature did it for him. He could identify with all life. All life he could identify with, and loved all of life. I wonder what yours is. What is your thing when you think about the wholeness of your being and your true essence? Does that happen for you when you're in a garden? Does it happen for you when you're up a mountain? Does it happen for you when you're by a lake? Does it happen for you when you're playing with little children? Where do you most recognize that special thing called life with capitals? Wholeness and fullness and completeness. Where do you most feel all of those things? Is there an experience that you have wherein you come close to that? Is it associated with a person, a place, or a thing? Because we all have that sweet spot somewhere. And when we're in it, everything looks beautiful and everything looks ready to unfold. And we feel one with the whole thing. You know, when did you last truly feel one with all of life? And where was that? Where were you when you felt that way? You see, the thing about it is, this world is your world. This world is my world. This world is our world. People are my people. People are your people. People are our people. The work is my work. It's your work, and it's our work. Now, there will never be peace on earth or goodwill floating around throughout until enough of us realize this, that we are all interconnected in amazing, amazing ways through amazing grace, that we're all the one thing. We are the one breath in the one body, each one of us, and every single breath is essential to the wholeness and the welfare of that one body. And you cannot separate the one breath that I am or you are from the breath of the whole body. It's impossible. And all play an essential, significant part in the well-being of the whole. It's an amazing thing. And it's just a question of you and I deciding once and for all, what is my perspective in life? What is my sense and sensibility about life? As Monica said, am I always going to see the glass half empty and emptying itself to nothing? Or can I see that glass as half full and brimming over, spreading out and touching other places and fertilizing other places as a result of that? How am I going to continue to perceive life, not just my life, but all life? How am I going to approach the outer connectiveness that I experience with my fellow human beings and what goes on in the world? Am I going to see everything as a threat? Am I going to see so many differences out there that I can't identify really and don't feel comfortable? What am I going to do? Because all of that is affecting the whole drama of life. We have had a phenomenal opportunity through this thing called this pandemic. Several pandemics actually at the moment, if you really sit down and look at it. We've called a great experience upon ourselves because we were getting too far away from each other. We had so divided ourselves and separated from ourselves that all of us together as a collective consciousness call this to ourselves, because consciousness is king. What we are all thinking personally and what we think collectively creates our world's experiences and our personal experiences. It's a phenomenal thought when you first come to it, actually, and you say, don't be ridiculous. That's not true. I didn't create this over there and that over there and so on. I'm not saying you did. I'm saying that our collective consciousness, whether it's negativity or positivity, creates experiences. I'm not saying we sit down to do that. No, not at all. But the way we remember, you're a magnetic field, I'm a magnetic field. And I draw into myself whatever I'm putting out there. Whatever I'm beaming out there, and it goes out afar, I attract back into myself. So if I'm all the time vibing negative feelings and negative ideas, well, don't be surprised if there's not going to be lots of experiences of negativity in your life, because you're calling it to yourself. It's a boomerang. Your thoughts go out and they come back and they land right where you are. So the power of you is phenomenal beyond our really understanding, but we're endeavoring to understand that. And we have the opportunity now. I have seen amazing, wonderful things happen during this past year. Amazing. I've seen people really wake up more than they've ever awakened before, become more mindful, more connected, more understanding, and so on. I don't know what your experience is, but remember, if all of us could reach herd immunity, as far as knowing ourselves in truth and understanding ourselves as spiritual being and our interconnectivity, this world would change like that. Just like that. Or you might call it the quantum number, whatever that is. Like that. But your thoughts and my thoughts add to that or detract from that happening. So, the whole idea, if you want to be healthy, if you want to be happy, if you want to be well, if you want to be successful and achieving, and I'm not talking about stuff and things. As the scripture says, think aright. Think good thoughts. Feel good feelings. Do good whenever you can, wherever you are, with whomever you are. It's simple, really, but it's so simple we miss it. We do, we miss it. But come back to that realization that heaven is within you. It's been told to us since heck was a pup, time immemorial. Heaven is within you. Don't look over there. Don't look over there. Don't look up there for it. Don't look down there for it. Look within and find it. And that heaven is what? It's wholeness. It's completeness. It's fullness of being. It's union and communion. That's what heaven is. And for that to happen, there's work to be done, just like any accomplishment, there's work to be done. The question is, are we ready for that now? Are we a little bit more ready than ever we were before? I think in this year we've got an opportunity to look at that. Do we really want to know who we are in truth? Or are we just going to maintain status quo? Yeah, it is what it is. No, it's not it is what it is. It is what you feel and it is what you think. That's what it is. What you think and what you feel creates your experiences, and mine too. It's an amazing thing, this thing called life, called consciousness, called opportunity to come home to ourselves, to feel the presence, not just within ourselves, but everywhere we are. We are adventurers, we are explorers, we are investigators, and what we're looking for is to find good in everything and everyone, and to mind that goodness, and mind it too. That's what we're here to do and to be. Every day you wake up, gee, I get to be on another adventure today. I get to explore today. I get to investigate today. That which is good and very good. It is my challenge to seek out and find the good wherever it happens to be, and it's everywhere. As the great Francis of Assisi discovered. Didn't matter whether he was hugging a leper or whether he was talking to a pope or what. Brother, sun, sister, moon, nature to him was all the activity and energy of God, and it was all to be recognized and served. You see, Brother Lawrence in his kitchen, amongst the pots and pans, doing all the menial tasks, grew and grew and grew in deeper and deeper awareness of his union and communion with the One. There were hundreds and hundreds of monks in that monastery, and some of them were exceptionally gifted and very, very actively intelligent. We don't know any of their names. We know his, Brother Lawrence, the scullery brother. So you see, you don't have to have any title, and you don't have to have any great accomplishment or achievement to your name in order to move into that fullness and wholeness of being. Not at all. I mean, that field we talk about, the inner kingdom, the kingdom of wholeness and fullness and completeness and infinite power and infinite beingness, is within you and around you and about you. And Mother Teresa found it in the squalor and in the streets of Calcutta. That's where she found it. You find it in all kinds of places. It's everywhere, you see, and it can be found in all kinds of places. So there is only God, and God is all there is. There is only good, and good is all there is. And it's for you to find, to investigate, to find, to look for it. And usually what we look for, we find. But in doing that, you and I have to take our gaze off of what is not whole and wholesome and good, so that we can be present to what is. Because your mind, one space can't be occupied by two things. Two of us can't sit on that seat there. Of course, unless one sits on one's lap. It's not the same. It's not the experience of the seat then, is it? So what's going on in your head, I'm asking? What's going on in your heart? What's going on in your life? Because all of that has to do with what is going on in your thinking and in your feeling. Come back to yourself. Come back to the presence of yourself. Be aware of yourself. Be tuned into yourself. Be alive in your living. And make your decisions intelligently when you wake up in the morning. Doesn't matter what's ahead of you. Say, this is an amazing day. I could have my best day yet. This could be the most fascinating adventure I've ever been on. I'm ready to discover good. I am ready to bring good to the adventure. And I know it's like a piece of yeast, one little piece of yeast can raise up a whole batch of loaves. So if you have one little piece of that thought, that feeling, that commitment, that desire, and you go forth into your day with that, I'm telling you, it's going to rise you up or raise you up into a wonderful day and an accomplished day, and a day that blesses not only you, but blesses all life as well. This is the day that life and light and love has made, and I am glad and I rejoice in it, could be your thought. Or my thought often is, well, God chose to wake up in me today, so I'm choosing to wake up in God with God's help, you see. So I know some of us are really going through deeply challenging times right now. Many of us are in sorrow and sadness over losses of all kinds. I understand that. I can't say I can know it like you know it, but I know it in my own way. And what I can tell you is, it will pass, the terrible weight of it, the terrible blackness of it. It will pass. It may take some time, but it will pass. And if you can just hang in there and know that as well as all that that's going on in your life, there is a power and a presence within you greater than all of it. And if you can just trust it, if you can just lean into it, the passing will be all the quicker. So, my dear ones, know that all the answers to your questions are within you, but you have to be present to yourself to discover those answers. So give yourself time out to be still and know goodness and love and God that is goodness and love and givingness and support and always, not only at your side, but within you. Lean into that presence and know that's your staff, that's your rock. And you can trust that staff as you journey on your adventure in life. And this is one adventure that will lead you home, absolutely. Sooner or later, you're going to make it back to where you first begun. to the essential self of yourself, and my, won't that be a great moment. So, until that is your experience, keep open and receptive to following those intuitive movements of thought that are nudging you forward and nudging you into wholeness and nudging you into what is good and good for you and everybody else too. So let's be kind to ourselves and kind to each other, and the rest will take care of itself. Yes? Now, Reverend Catherine is standing here, and she's going to come forward and share something wonderful with us.
This is the time in our service where we acknowledge messages that we get from our members and our friends that honor our mission statement, which is to honor your presence, nurture your spirit, and enrich the lives of all we serve. And this is this week's message. I am so grateful that our time of confinement may be coming to a close. My husband and I are working from home, and we have 2 toddlers, so some days are quite stressful. I am so grateful to be able to count my blessings. We are privileged to be able to work from home and to have 2 beautiful children. Yet the stress at the end of the day is undeniable. I have tools to help me, and I am always grateful. I love our teaching. Thank you.
I'm sure that many of us can identify with that. All you mothers and fathers and people who are taking care of people can identify with that lovely sharing. But you know, that's why, most particularly, it's so comforting when we know we can lean into the presence and we will be supported and make it through whatever. So stay close to Source, and Source will never fail you, that's for certain sure. And again, as one of the great practitioners I knew would always say, there's nothing wrong with help when you can't think of anything else to say. So know the help is there for you, and you're supposed to have it. So now we are going to celebrate our fullness. We're going to celebrate our prosperous beingness. And it doesn't matter how small the loaf is or how large the loaf is. We in this teaching always find we always have enough to share. And so know this with me right here and right now. Divine love consecrates my gift. It goes forth to heal, to bless, and to prosper. All those who give and all those who receive. I rejoice in the sharing of my good, and I release my gift with love. And so it is. And now we're going to pray together our wonderful Sunday prayer that is a unifying prayer. And remember, every time we pray, we in this teaching include all of life in the prayer. No one left out, nothing left out, all of life, because we in this teaching know that we belong to everything.